The early humans men have been living in T subcontinent for over 2 miles years. Early men lived a primitive life of hardship and struggle. As they did not have any clothes, they protected their bodies from the CL by covering themselves with the skins of animals, bark of trees, leaves. They lived on trees or care and were basically food gatherers. They hunted wild animals for food and also gathered edible plants that they found growing wild. When the food available at a place gr exhausted, they moved elsewhere. This is why they were called hunter-gatherers and nomads. Over a period of thousands of years, they progressed from being food gatherers to food producers. After this stage, they advanced quickly, and stopped wandering from one place to another. They made small near their fields and started leading a settled life. This was man's first step towards civilization. This stage in life of early man is called the Stone Age. The Stone Age into 3 stages can be divided. 1. Old Stone Age or Paleolithic Age. Paleo means old and lithic. Tian Stone. 2. Middle Stone Age or Mesolithic Age. Meso means middle. New Stone Age or Neolithic Age or Late Stone Age. Neo means new. Old Stone Age, circa 500,000 BC to 12,000 BC. The early period of man's existence is called the Old Stone Age. At Foodgars Bali, man was madly this stage. Man was a nomad who wandered from place to place gathering fruits, edible roots and nuts. He hunted fish and animals for their flesh and hides. He ate raw meat. He moved in groups to protect himself from wild animals. Once he had consumed the fruits and animals of one area, he had to move to another area. Thus, he was constantly on the move, either in search of food, in search of small prey, in search of seasonal fruits, or in search of water during the dry season. Dependent on sea. Early man did not understand natural phenomena like thunder or lightning, and was afraid of them. He was also afraid of ferocious animals like tigers, lions, panthers, rhinoceroses, etc. He took shelter in caves in hilly areas. In the beginning, man used to gather food or kill animals with his bare hands. But it was not easy to dig out roots or kill big animals with the bare hands. Therefore, he made crude tools and weapons of stone. However, the best defense against wild animals was yet to be discovered. Discovery and use of fire. The discovery of fire was probably accidental. Man must have noticed sparks when 2 pieces of stone struck against each other. This might have given him the idea that he could make fire whenever he needed. Or perhaps he used the smoldering embers of a tree struck by lightning to make a fire. But once he came to know the usefulness of fire, he used it in many ways. At night, he kept a fire burning at the mouth of his cave. This prevented wild animals from entering the cave. Again, fire provided warmth during cold winter days and nights. He could also make his food softer and tastier by roasting it over a fire. Traces of ash have been found in Karnool caves in India. Even today, there are people who live by hunting and gathering. Can you identify such groups in India? Early tools and weapons. Early man's tools and weapons were made of stone. Man used a hard stone called flint, along with other types of stones, for making tools and weapons. Flint was the stone that was used in making fire. He found this type of stone easy to chip, so he gave various shapes to it. However, the tools that man made at this time were rough and unpolished. Some of these tools have been found in South India, and in the Song or Sohan River Valley in Pakistan. In some places such as in the Kashmir Valley, the bones or horns of animals were also used as tools and weapons. Such tools and weapons have been found in the foothills of the Himalayas, in the Narmada Valley, Bhibetka, and in the Deccan, Hunski and Karnool. Chopper. The tools used by primitive man can be grouped into 3 major types. Hand axes, they were mainly used to give smashing blows. In the beginning, they were used without a handle. Later on, they were tied to a wooden handle which made it possible for a man to use it with force. Grater, rowhead, scraper, have been, or digging and spears. This enabled man to hit and kill animals without going to fruits and rape meat close to them. Choppers, they were made of heavy stones worked to a edge in one direction only, and were most probably used for chopping meat. Sharp, finer work, flake implements, they were used as knives and scrapers. For some of these implements were given sharp points and tied to arrows. For many thousands of years of man's early history, the only remains that we can find are crude stone tools. These tools are often found lying along the terraces of rivers where early man used to roam in search of wild animal. They have also been found in caves and rock shelters where he once lived. Man was totally dependent on nature for his food supply. The first tools made by him served many purposes, such as skinning of dead animals, cutting their flesh, splitting their bones, etc. Paleolithic cultures. It is believed that the Old Stone Age, Paleolithic Age, began nearly 5 lakh years ago. In Africa, Europe and Asia, crude tools of this period have been found. They indicate the presence of man. In India, early Stone Age sites are found in the Deccan. The salient features of the Old Stone Age are as follows. Tools. Early man made weapons to hunt animals, and also for his own self-defense. These included hand axes, cleavers, knives, spears. Also made stone tools for chopping, digging, and skinning. Key. Dwelling. Early man did not know how to make houses. To protect himself from rain, heat and cold, he sought shelter in caves and under. Diet. Early man was unaware of agriculture and animal rearing. He depended upon the roots and fruits available in nature for his survival. He also killed small animals and birds and ate their raw flesh. He also ate fish he could catch easily. Early man wore nothing. As his hunting skills improved, he started covering his body with animal skins as protection from the heat and cold, instead of the crude covering of bark of trees and leaves he used to wear earlier. Life. Early man moved from one place to another in search of food. That is, he was a nomad. He started living in small groups of people to protect himself from wild animals. This was the origin of tribal way of life. The tribal way of life became very important for his survival. In many parts of the world, even today, tribes play a very important role in a person's life. Art. Old Stone Age man was fond of art. He painted pictures of men, women, birds and animals on the walls of caves he took shelter in. Prehistoric rock art. Such rock paintings have been found in many Stone Age rock shelters. They show that Stone Age man was a good observer and a fine artist. Animals, birds, and human beings are depicted in these paintings. Obviously, most of the birds and animals that appear in paintings were hunted for subsistence. Humans are shown engaged in various activities such as hunting, dancing, playing games, warfare, etc. The Mesolithic culture, circa 12,000 BC to 10,000 BC. The last ice age ended with the Old Stone Age. With the climate warming up, vegetation flourished, and so did a vast variety of birds, insects and animals. Life was much easier now. Food was plentiful, now that the ice had retreated. Man made rapid improvements in every area of life in the Middle Stone Age, also called the Mesolithic or Microlithic Age. The climate was warmer and man could easily move from one place to another. Most of the tools of this period are far better than those of the Paleolithic Age. They are smaller and well-shaped. This is why they are called microliths. The men of this time did not live at a fixed place. They were nomads, who could easily find food such as roots and fruits as they moved from place to place. They also hunted animals, and ate their meat raw. The important sites of Mesolithic age in India are Adamagra in Madhya Pradesh and Bagor in Rajasthan. The Neolithic age, c. 10,000 BC to 4, or WSOBC, man evolves to become a food producer. During this age, greater, differ among beliefs of old use of fire brought the next great leap towards civilization. Man learnt some more about his environment. He observed how seeds coming in contact feel that these with soil and water, germinate and grow into plants. This was the beginning and also period of agriculture. Wheat and barley were the first crops grown by early man. He started growing those plants that gave him food in his hunter and they believed gatherer days. Apart from cultivating food grains, he also began domesticating useful wild animals such as dogs, sheep, goats, pigs, buffaloes, etc. He also learnt how to use meat, milk and hides of some of these animals. Regarding they, while burying this, they say, a death. With his food supply now within his reach at all times, man stopped being a nomad. He now lived a settled life in villages, mostly along river Vas, probably the banks. There was water for drinking, and fish were plentiful in the water ATED for hunting, bodies. This period is known as the New Stone Age or the Neolithic Age. Evidence of this age has been found in different parts of India. All that early man. Archaeological remains of Neolithic cultures have been found in various parts of India like Payampalli in Tamil Nadu, Piklihal in Andhra Pradesh, Maski and Brahmagiri in Karnataka. Archaeological sources found around Tirunelveli and Tuticorin are related to the Neolithic age. Tools. During the Neolithic age, man continued to make tools out of stone, but there was marked improvement in their shape, sharpness, and polish. Axes were made out of granulated stone pieces with sharpened edges. The scythe was made of a sharp, thin stone fitted into a wooden handle. Hammers were made with wooden handles. Bows, arrows, and spears were the chief weapons. Some new Stone Age tools found in Adichanallur in Tamil Nadu and Hallur in Karnataka are kept on display in museums. Invention of the wheel. It was during this stage that man invented the wheel. It was probably used to make earthen pottery. Later, it adapted to fit on carts. This revolutionized movement of people goods. It also led to the art of spinning. The invention of the wheel considered to be a landmark in human history. Religion. It is interesting to note the beginning in man. Man was in awe of the mysterious forces of nature, afraid of thunder and lightning. He could not explain the rising wheel, the wheel setting of sun and moon, change of seasons, etc. He started worship various forms of nature out of fear. Later, men concluded that G were responsible for natural phenomena and conceived of the exister of T religious side of a sky god, an earth goddess, a god of thunder, etc. In course, people of all cultures started worshipping imaginary gods represent. Evidence of grains and bones of domesticated animals. Important Neolithic sites. Sheep, goat, cattle, wheat, barley. Rice and animal bones. Rice, hoof marks of cattle on clay surface. Wheat and lentil. Wheat and lentil, dog, sheep, goat, buffalo. Wheat, barley, green gram, buffalo, ox. Millet, sheep, goat, piggy. Black gram, millet, sheep, pig. Mergat at present in Pakistan. Koldiva in Uttar Pradesh. Mahagra in Uttar Pradesh. Gafkral in Kashmir. Buzahom in Kashmir. Chirand in Bihar. Hallur in Andhra Pradesh. Payampalli in Andhra Pradesh. Natural forces. Trees and animals were also worshipped. Some of them were useful while others were considered sacred. Death was thought to be a journey into another world from which no one returned. So, many things of daily use were put in the grave when the dead were buried. Did you know? Beginning of the age of metals. Since primitive man used stone tools, the period is known as the Stone Age. The Neolithic people made rapid progress, which included the invention of the wheel. They started living in villages along river banks. Here they discovered a soft, reddish metal called copper. Soon, people began to use copper tools. However, stone tools continued to be used for some time. This period is known as the Chalcolithic period in history. In India, copper was extracted from mines in Hazaribagh and Singhabhum districts of Jharkhand and some places in Madhya Pradesh. Copper was the first metal used by the early man. Bronze Age. The discovery of copper brought far-reaching changes in man's lifestyle. Later on, another metal, zinc, was discovered. Man mixed copper and zinc, thus creating bronze. Bronze was harder than copper. Soon, bronze began to be used for the manufacture of weapons and agricultural tools. Bronze Age civilizations flourished between 4000 BC and 800 BC in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China. Axes and knives made of copper or bronze have been found in many places in India, but there was no Bronze Age in India. Brahmagiri near Mysore and Nawada Toli on the Narmada bank are the main sites of such discoveries. Word box. Nomads, people who wander from one place to another in search of food. Chalcolithic, the period when man used both stone as well as copper tools. Iron Age. The Iron Age began in India with the coming of the Indo-Aryans. They spread a new civilization in northern India known as the Vedic Age. In South India too, iron began to be used extensively. Case study of Deccan Paleolithic cultures. Holi. Case study of Deccan Paleolithic cultures. In India, early Stone Age sites in India are found in Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh, Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, Sabarmati in Gujarat, Nivasa in Maharashtra and Malprabha and Gharprabha basins in Karnataka. The Paleolithic age in India is divided into three phases according to the nature of the stone tools used by the people and according to the nature of change in the climate. 1. Lower Paleolithic, hand axe and cleaver making sites. Nivasa in Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, Hundsgi in Gulbarg, Karnataka, Attirampakkam, Tamil Nadu, Malprabha and Ghatprabha basins in Karnataka, etc. 11. Middle Paleolithic, tools made of flakes, sites, Nivasa, Samanapur on river Narmada in south of the Tungabhadra river. 3. Upper Paleolithic, tools made of flakes and blades. Sites, Bori, Moragaon, Isampur, Attirampakkam, Saswad Nasre, Yedurwadi, etc. Hundsgi, a large number of stone tools have been found from the Paleolithic sites of the Deccan. In particular, Hundsgi and Bijpal Valley in the Deccan have many Stone Age sites. At some sites a large number of tools, used for different purposes were found and most of the tools were made from limestone. It seems that the early people lived here for a long period of time and these sites worked as habitation cum factory sites. Altogether, about 200 sites have been noticed in this region. These stone artifacts are a valuable source of information. They help historians to deduce how early man lived. Case age, northwest, northeast. Neolithic settlements found in most parts of the subcontinent are not older than 7000 BC. The most important development in the New Stone Age was that man now began to cultivate land for growing food. Rice cultivation seems to have begun in India around 7 OWSO BC, the evidence from Bellan Valley, Koldibwa, shows. Long before man became a farmer, he had to name animals. Evidence from a Kuprik in Afghanistan suggests the domestication of sheep, goat and cattle. However, the earliest evidence of agricultural Neolithic man comes from the northwestern part of the Indo-Pakistan region. The sites of Gumla, Rana Ghundai, and Jira, Mundiga Ken. Mehrgarh yield evidence of agriculture between 7000 and 5000 BC. When man became a farmer, his lifestyle changed drastically. Man now made better and improved tools. The Neolithic age men not only used tools of polished stone but also tools and weapons of bone. Mehrgarh Neolithic sites are scattered over various places in India. Different sites evolved at different times. Among the early sites, Mehrgarh, near Quetta, in Baluchistan, is the earliest known farming and pastoral settlement. This site shows continuity of the settlement over a long period of time, from agriculture to urbanization. Archaeologists have found traces of huts or houses, mud bricks, cultivation of wheat and barley, the herding of cattle, sheep and goats, pit burials, etc. It is one of the earliest villages that we know so far in the subcontinent. Many kinds of animal bones have been found from Mehrgarh, which suggests that deer, pig, goat were domesticated. Houses were made rectangular or square in shape, and each house had many burzaho. Important archaeological sites found in Indian subcontinent. Apartments. Burial was a common practice. The dead person was buried with goats, which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. Burzahom, located in present-day Kashmir, Burzahom was a Neolithic site. Archaeologists have found traces of pit houses, seeds of wheat, barley and lentils and bones of animals. In Burzahom, people built pit houses. Pits were usually circular in shape and plastered with mud. Pit houses were partially sunk into the ground as a means of protection from cold. Traces of cooking hearths have also been found inside and outside huts. These people were acquainted with pottery making and making polished stone and bone tools. Buried remains of both humans and animals have been unearthed. In Burzahom, domestic dogs were buried with their masters. Daujali Hadding, northeast of the Indus Valley, Neolithic sites been found here, in the hills of Assam. Daujali Hadding was discovered by Dr. H.D. Sankalia. A large number of Neolithic stone tools, including mortars and pestles, have been found here. It seems that people were probably growing grain and preparing food from it. Small polished stone, wood and bone tools have been found in this area, especially in the Kachar Hills, Naga Hills and Garo Hills. Jadite, a kind of stone, was used which may have been imported from China.